Hi everyone, I'm Sabrina Alloway. This is my pregnancy journey. I am 28 and a half weeks pregnant today. This is kind of like an interjection video because my last two videos were very long and didn't get to talk about everything I wanted to. So if this is the first time you're seeing my videos, welcome. Uh, I hope that what I say resonates and helps you in some way. My videos are mainly for first time pregnancy ladies, but hopefully other, you know, pregnant women will find my videos nice and useful. The reason why I did these videos is because when I first got pregnant, I felt quite lonely and scared and vulnerable, and I wanted to find someone's pregnancy journey to see what they're going through, to feel connected, not feel so lonely. So that's it. Today I'm talking about a few bits, a few appointments that I've had lately. So recently, 2 weeks ago, I had my diabetes appointment because of history in my family. My dad got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a few years ago. And so that then puts me in a slightly higher risk category. The fact that I've got a higher chance of getting gestational diabetes just because of that. So one thing I wanted to say, it's really, really important to know your family history in terms of health. I know sometimes people don't, either you're adopted and so you don't really know the genetics of your family, which can make it very difficult. Other times you might not have any contact with your family, so you can't ask them the questions. You don't know what their medical history is. So I know it can be difficult at some point, but if you do have any opportunity, do ask questions to your parents, your grandparents, your uncles, your aunties, whatever. See if they've had heart problems, see if they've had blood issues, clots, especially diabetes, see if there's anything else running, higher risk of breast cancer, or, my whole family on my mother's side has had thyroid problems. My father and my grandmother have had blood clots and issues. So it's really, really important that I then feed that down to my doctors and, my midwife, because then that all kind of influences how they take care of me. So one thing that has come about is that, like I said, I've got history of blood clots in my family. So my dad's had a few blood clots and pulmonary embolisms. And last year, actually, my dad almost died if he hadn't gotten to the hospital at the right time. He felt this pain and this burning sensation riding up through his leg. And I told him, when he told me that it had been happening for 2 days, I was like, "Are you mad? Go to the doctor, go check it out." Because I was worried. My grandmother died of a blood clot, and I knew that that was a symptom of blood clot. And turns out that he was admitted immediately as soon as he talked to his doctor, and it was a blood clot, and that blood clot was on his way on its way to his heart. So thank God he got there on time. So that's something that I've had on my mind, and I spoke to my midwife about it, and so they decided to put me on blood thinners for the rest of the pregnancy. So I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of this stuff, and a gigantic needles waste box thing, which looks quite scary, and I'm going to have to leave it on the top of my counter, far away from my 3-year-old son. And I have to do this injection every single day now in my belly and different places every day. And, it doesn't seem like it's going to be hard, but obviously I have to inject myself every single day, so it's going to be a bit of a pain. But like what I'm saying, like, find out any issues that's going on in your family, um, to be able to pass that information down, because it is important, and it will influence your medical care, your maternity care. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that at the moment my head is spiraling in terms of needing to get stuff ready. Like I've got 2.5 months of pregnancy left. Supposedly, we'll see. I don't know what happens, but I'm gonna try and see if it goes naturally. Um, but there are things that you need to start thinking about now. When I was pregnant the first time, I had a lot of time. I took my maternity 2 months, 8 weeks before my due date because I knew that I had to prepare stuff, and I didn't want the overwhelming feeling of just finishing work and then all of a sudden I got a baby and like so many things to prepare. So I did a really long list of things that I needed to get, which helped me. And then slowly every week I would get something different. And it also kind of spread out the cost about it all. So it made it not feel like such an overwhelming big thing. So the first week I bought the baby cot and the next to me crib. And then the next week I bought a sterilizer and some bottles. And so I kind of went, week by week doing a few things and going shopping, and without the stress of having it all done very quickly, because actually once you think about it, it's so much stuff you need to get. You've got a baby, you need to get little blankets, you need to get newborn clothes and newborn nappies and wipes, and so like I said, all these apps, the Bounty app, the Emma's Diary app, the Start for Life app, will help you with what you need to get, and will help you with lots of little samples of things you never thought about. So samples, things that I got like a little box of easy freeze maternity milk. This I think is going to become really, really useful, because obviously I want to breastfeed. Not everybody does, and that's okay. But personally, for my own sense of accomplishment, I decided that I wanted to breastfeed. So I breastfed my first son. That only lasted for 7 months, because he then went off it because I started getting my period again. And obviously every time you got your period, the taste of your milk changes completely, and it becomes a little bit bitter, so the babies don't like that. So, and at that time I made the mistake of not having expressed extra milk, or not having milk in the freezer waiting for him for these reasons. And so the second time it happened, he just refused my boob and did not want my breast ever again. So we had to go to bottle feeding, and that was another mistake, because then it caused a lot of digestive problems for my son. He had a terrible reaction to powdered milk, and had loads of gas and wouldn't sleep and screamed, and for quite a few months I didn't know that it was the milk causing it, sadly. And I carried on giving him the milk, and we suffered a lot for about 8 months, till he was about 14 months old. I realized, oh my God, there's something, it's the milk, there's something wrong that's causing all this extra gas, and he's in pain and uncomfortable. The moment I took the milk away, it got so much better, and the moment I took the bottles away, even better. So, yeah, it was a hard time, a big learning curve. So this time I'm going to express as much as I can, and I'm going to get those in the freezer ready for him whenever he needs, because baby number 2 I'm hoping to breastfeed him for a bit longer than that. I don't want to breastfeed him for 2 years or anything like that, but a bit longer than 7 months. Um, so going with the breastfeeding, I've spoken about milk collectors, because like I said last time, I had so much milk in my breasts that I was leaking a lot, and I had to use the breast pads constantly, and I just felt like I was wasting. I don't know why I didn't think clearly at that time and just said express more, put them in the bottles, freeze. I don't know why. I think maybe I was just so focused on every little next thing I needed to do for the baby. And it's just a whirlwind, especially the first 4 months of having the young little baby. It's very intense. Anyway, so you don't think clearly, and you got baby brain and all sorts of other stuff. So I wanted to just show you the haakaa. The haakaa is a very, very useful and easy way to express milk. Like I said, the first time I tried to pump, I used a breast pump, and I did not like the feeling. I did not get on well with it. It hurt me. I felt pain, so I didn't want to have that pain anymore. Don't know why I can't open this thing. Is it in there? I don't even know if it's inside here. Oh, there it is. So, this is the haakaa. This is a medium-sized ones. Don't get any smaller than 120 ml one, but I'd recommend probably getting a bigger one, because by the time I was 6 months postpartum breastfeeding, I would fill this one up very quickly, and it wouldn't be enough to and then I'd just waste a lot of milk. So I'm going to be using my little breast milk collectors and this at the same time, and this is very, very easy to use. So you'd have to open up the this top part, so you just fold it over like this, and then you put it on your breast from the bottom up. You squeeze the haakaa while you put it on, so it causes suction, and then you fold it over your breast, and it should cause a vacuum and then start expressing the milk, and it should come out relatively easy, especially if your baby's on the other breast, because you will just naturally, while you're breastfeeding the baby on the one breast, he'll then the milk will just start wanting to go on this breast as well. So instead of wasting that milk, put your haakaa on. I found it really comfortable, easy to use. Really, I found it really useful. And then when it's heavy, it's got a suction at the bottom. You can just plonk it on the table next to you, whatever, so you do, while you're breastfeeding your baby, so it doesn't fall over and get wasted. And then you can very easily just pour it into a bottle or into the bag. I'm going to try and get another bigger one. I think you can get 180 ml ones or 200 ml ones. Just because I found them so useful. They're soft silicone, they don't hurt. When the milk is coming out, it just feels like normal, natural expression. So that's about it for today. I had loads of other things that I want to talk to you about, but I think looking on the NHS app, looking on any of these other apps, try and find little lists like checklists, maternity checklists, baby checklists, and go through them and start buying things one at a time slowly, so you don't get overwhelmed. You'll have to have your next to me crib and sheets and blankets and bottles and sterilizers and nappies and clothes and all sorts of things that you will never have even thought about. Sometimes I would also recommend just walking around Boots or the Sainsbury's baby section and just looking and reading what's there. I think next week I'll go through the list and stuff that I've already got for you guys to have a look at. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.